First, the news headline. Child succumbs to dengue at Moree town, 18 persons test positive. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MAMI TV English News Update. This is ROMEE NINGOMBAM, now the news in details. A child of Tonglang village under Moree subdivision in Technopal district succumbed to vector-borne disease dengue, while 18 others have been confirmed positive. Fogging and necessary measures have been put in place at Moree town after the child succumbed to the disease. The 9-year-old child hailing from Tonglang village was found positive of dengue on June 17 and died at RIMS. Subsequently, a team of RIMS and District Malaria Officer DMO Technopal District visited Moree on June 24 and 25 and collected 77 blood samples from Chawang Phai, Tonglang, D Konom Phai and Chano villages and carried out fogging and intensive surveillance. When the blood samples were tested at RIMS, 21 were found to be equivocal, 30 negative and 18 positive for dengue. The result confirmed that 11 residents of Chawang Phai and 5 of Tonglang village have contracted dengue. 1 resident each of Konom Phai and Chano villages also tested positive for the disease. Accordingly, DMO Technopal Dr. Manibusan informed Chief of Tonglang village on Khosei Baite to take up necessary precautionary measures to prevent further spread of the disease in and around the village. Union Minister of State for Education Dr. Subhas Sarkar will arrive on Imphal today on a 2-day visit. Soon after his arrival, the Union Minister will attend a review meeting with Vice Chancellor of Manipur University and other officials. He will also interact with students during his visit. Later, the Minister will attend a DISA meeting to be held at DC office in Imphal West. An interaction program with beneficiaries of central government schemes will also be held. Spokesperson of Union of Kabul Civil Society Organizations, Ningthozam Ranavir, drew the attention of Chief Minister N. Biren to set up ethnic heritage park at Kabul Lamjao and not elsewhere, as the people of Kabul have been taking active role in protecting Sangay for a long time. He was speaking at a press meet held at Ima Pawoy Community Hall at Kabul Mayaylika yesterday. The press meet was jointly organized by Sangay Protection Forum, Kabul Lamjao, Mayrapai B Apunbalup Kabul, Kabul Sangram and 7 clubs from Kabul Sangram to Chandpur. Speaking further, Ranavir said the people in the surrounding areas of Kabul Lamjao National Park have been facing a lot of hardships after the park was declared as National Park, as they were restricted from carrying out any cultivation in the area. Besides, people of the area have been taking immense role in protecting
Honorable Shem Saibna, Lamdam Masida, Lazariba Praza, Sinamatam Queen of the Mangzak Pamanglan, Sangay Sibukan Basinam or Haraga, no Modi Tongan Tongan Baleva, I could be sucked on the Kai Kunapikador in Haina, Mangzak Pamangla, Asidi, Mang Pauna and Buhadina, Calculazariba Shem Saibna from the Lukna, Haizeri.
ROMEE civil society organizations have extended their condolences to families of victims of the tragic Tupul Railway Yard landslide on June 29. A joint press release from RNCM, RNLPM and RNSOM said, upon receiving the information of the tragic incident, volunteers of ROMEE CSOs rushed to the landslide area and helped in the rescue operation. The CSOs also appealed to people of different communities in the state to help one another during such dire situation. They further urged the government and authorities concerned to take up necessary steps in time to prevent such disaster in future. Let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. The flood situation in Assam remained grim as 14 more deaths, including 6 children, were reported in the past 24 hours, and over 29.70 lakh people in 30 districts were affected by the deluge. With this, the toll from this year's floods and landslide has gone up to 173. 6 people lost their lives in Kasar, followed by 3 in Nagwan and 2 in Barpeta, while Karimganj, Kokrajhar and Lakhimpur districts recorded 1 death each. On the other hand, a total of 2,450 villages are underwater and more than 63,314 hectares of crop areas are inundated. The worst affected is Kasar, where over 14.04 lakh people have been affected by the deluge, followed by Nagwan with more than 4.32 lakh people still suffering due to the crisis brought to their lives by the devastating floods. Meanwhile, authorities are running 894 relief camps and distribution centers in 23 districts, where as many as 3.03 lakh people are currently taking shelter. Due to the impact of the flood waters, many houses, roads, embankments, and bridges have been damaged across the affected districts of the state. India recorded a total of 70,092 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. This took the total number of COVID-19 cases to more than 4.34 crore. According to the Union Health Ministry data updated, the active cases rose to 1.09 lakh. The death count climbed to 5.25 lakh with the new COVID fatalities. The active cases comprise 0.25% of the total infections, while the national COVID-19 recovery rate was 98.54%, the ministry said. The daily positivity rate was also recorded at 4.14% and the weekly positivity rate at 3.56%. Meanwhile, with 14,684 patients having recovered in the last 24 hours, the cumulative tally of recovered patients surged to 4.28 crore. On the other hand, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has exceeded 197.84 crore across the country. Telangana's capital Hyderabad is holding 2 massive shows of strength today. While the BJP is holding its 2 national executive meeting to be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the ruling Telangana Rashtra Samiti TRS has organized a rally in support of Yashwant Sinha, the opposition's candidate for the presidential post. Yashwant Sinha will be received by TRS President and Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao at Begumpet Airport just a couple of hours before the Prime Minister lands at the same airport. K. Chandrasekhar Rao and Sinha will then lead a bike rally from the airport of Jal Bihar, where a meeting has been organized in support of Sinha's candidature. On the roads of the city, a poster war has broken out. While the BJP has put up cutouts and banners showcasing the achievements of the center, the TRS has put up posters featuring KCR and Yashwant Sinha. This is the 3rd time in 6 months that Mr. Rao has skipped the protocol of receiving a visiting Prime Minister. Earlier, he had flown to Bengaluru in May when PM Modi visited the state to attend the 20th annual celebrations at the Indian School of Business. The 2-day BJP National Executive meeting, the first physical meeting of the party's key decision-making body outside the national capital after a gap of 5 years, will be attended by BJP National President JP Nadda, Home Minister Amit Shah, Chief Ministers of 19 states and other BJP senior leaders. On Sunday afternoon, the Prime Minister will address a public rally at the parade grounds in Hyderabad. A group of U.S. lawmakers have urged President Joe Biden to file a formal request for consultations with India at the World Trade Organization over its alleged dangerous trade distorting practices. The 12 congressmen in a letter to Joe Biden stated that current WTO rules allows government to subsidize up to 10% of the value of commodity production. However, the Indian government continues to subsidize more than half of the value of the production for several commodities, including rice and wheat. They said, India's lack of rule following and the Biden administration's lack of enforcement have reshaped the global agricultural production and trade channels by driving down prices depressing production of rice and wheat commodities, and putting American producers at the disproportionate disadvantage, the congressman alleged in the letter. They also urged the administration to file a formal request for consultation with India at the WTO and to continue monitoring other WTO members' domestic support programs that undermine fair trade practices. And before we wind up, the headlines once again. Child succumbs to dengue at Moray town, 18 persons test positive. And that's it for MAMI TV English News Update. Thank you for tuning in.
Nahak pukning wakhagi anaba leibra drug addiction amadi mental disorder treatment gidamak adom karigi wari Manipurda ihan hanbo oina rehabilitation and child care center inkhalakliba naha singita oiba experienced leraba doctors amadi clinical psychologists singna layingjari experts singna counseling piba 24/7 CCTV camera da monitor tawduna kupna senaba morning yoga, healthy diets, weekly health checkup, intensive daily routine. Awaba kayadagi ngakthoknaba leijare Yaipokpa Rehabilitation and Child Care Center, Kwakaithel Akham Lekai. Adongi mathau tarabadi nakanda pijariba contact number asida pau fawbirau.